Hi, my name is Sergeant First Class Botez, and I'm going to talk you through some of the techniques we use to fold a flag. So here we have a flag, a standard flag. The stars will always be over the left shoulder of the casket. We're pretending for now that there's a casket under here. The senior-most person will be at the end of the flag with the stars. So today we have Staff Sergeant McKinney, and we have Staff Sergeant Venditti helping us out in the fold. So once you lift the flag off of the casket, you will then move a couple steps away from the casket to give yourself room to fold the flag. And to do that, you will get a cue from the senior person who will give a wrist flick, and then you will take one step to the side, another wrist flick, and another step to the side. So they're going to do that for you right now. The first fold is going to come up. Just go ahead, guys, and do the first wrist flick. So on the first fold, you're going to leave 1 inch to 1.5 inches right here on the flag. Your wrist flicked, and you're going to go flat again. All right. Now the next fold, go ahead, is going to come straight up. You're coming straight up to the first fold that you made, not all the way up to the top, but to this fold on both ends. So if this should be looking more like this all the way across, but it's going to just sag a little bit because of the way the flag is. All right, now the next thing is to go flat again. The guy that is not on the star end is the folder. He folds the flag. That's his job. Staff Sergeant McKinney's job is to hold the flag as taut as possible through the whole process, right about waist level of the folder. The first fold is the hardest fold of this whole process. So here's how it goes. You're going to take your right wrist and you're going to kind of flip it back a little bit. If you can just tip it to show them. And the first fold, you're going to fold it right up to this crease, the original crease that we made, not the top of the flag, but the crease that we made like 1.5 inches below. He takes his left hand and he always grabs the flag on either side with the fingers on top of the flag, not under the flag. Now this next part is really the trickiest part. He basically has to flip his wrist from here to here and grab the flag in one move. And he did it great. Now, the only time you step forward is when you're folding the flag forward. So this next move, Staff Sergeant Venditti will step forward as he's folding the flag forward. Good. Now, as you'll notice, the flag really isn't looking pretty at this point. So don't worry about that and don't feel like, oh, this isn't working out very well. It's not going to look very good until you get about this far in the flag. So he grabs over the top once again, folds it to the side, grabs it, steps forward, and basically you just do this and you keep folding the flag back and forth. This right here is what we call the landing zone. This is a critical fold in the process. When you fold this fold, you want it to land as close to the landing zone as possible. And this is pretty good. It's a little short. Because it's a little short, Staff Sergeant Venditti can kind of fudge with it a little bit to get it as close to that mark as possible. The landing zone goes up to here. If you fold the flag and this lands like that, it's way too far and there's going to be red showing when you get to the end. So we're doing pretty well there at that landing zone. We're going to do a cheat right here, and Staff Sergeant Venditti is going to take his right hand and come up here, and on this fold, he's going to pull it out just a little bit. So about that much, he's going to pull it out, and this is again to make sure that we'll have more blue left over in the end. Now he's going to fold that over, keep grabbing that on the right to make sure it's in there, and now we have what looks like what we call a mouth on this side. It's hard to see from here. Let's turn it a little bit. It's called the mouth. And so when he comes up with his left hand, he's going to tuck that in on this fold. Now these are just cheats, but they're good cheats. So he folds it up. Now he's got one more fold to make. And on this one as well, sorry. On this one, he again pulls it out with his left hand just a little bit and then brings it in. And as you can see, the blue is covering everything nicely at this point. Staff Sergeant McKinney's job is to do the tuck portion. The first thing he's going to do is take his right hand and he's going to swipe it like a credit card underneath the bottom layer of the flag. He's going to, as he's doing this, Staff Sergeant Venditti is going to squeeze the material. Now at this point, Staff Sergeant McKinney is going to make his right hand into a shark fin, and he's going to bring it underneath and put his thumb over the fabric, and then he's going to take his left hand, pick up the top, and then he's just going to tuck the material inside, trying to make it as tight as possible into the shape of a triangle. He's also going to use a motorcycle grip at this point and just tighten it all up. The next thing I want to talk about is if you are at a service that happens to be a cremation, the flag will come to you hopefully folded, as it is right now, from the funeral director. And the options, there's two options during the service. You can either have the flag kind of propped up against the wooden box or the canister, whatever is there. After the minister is done talking, you would pick it up and unfold it, as we're going to talk about in a second. The second option would be to stand holding the flag during the service, as Staff Sergeant Venditti is doing. You always, when you hold the flag, you always hold it left over right. It's just the rule. So left over right, fingers together. You don't want to have any of this going on where you're holding the flag. Fingers together, very military. At this point, we've finished folding the flag, and now I'm going to talk you through a little bit of just tightening up the flag and getting ready to present the flag. So at this point, Sergeant Venditti is going to make, with his hand, kind of like a shark fin, and we call this the credit card swipe. He's going to go to the top of the flag and then back down to the bottom, and then he's basically going to push Sergeant McKinney's hands off, and Sergeant McKinney's going to go to down to the position of attention. And now Sergeant Venditti is going to take the flag and turn it and bring it into his chest, put his hands left over right. And at this point, you can kind of squeeze the flag if it's kind of puffy, just make it tighter. And now, at this time, Sergeant McKinney is looking at each corner of the flag. And if there's one corner that has some red sticking out or just could use a little tightening, he's going to make eye contact with Sergeant Venditti and kind of look at the corner that needs fixing. And if you do one corner, you have to do the other corner. So once this is finished, Sergeant Venditti is then going to take the flag and lower it. Sergeant McKinney is going to take it back. And now Sergeant Venditti will salute the flag, perform an about face, and he departs. He just walks out of the area. At this point, Sergeant McKinney is going to be the presenter of the flag, and he needs to turn the flag to have it ready to be presented to the family. So at this point, he's going to go ahead and turn the flag around. There's a couple different ways you can do that. Sergeant McKinney has chosen to use, basically you make this kind of form with your hand, and he puts it under the flag, and then he just turns it around. It definitely takes practice, because you can be a little wobbly at first. So just practice turning the flag so you don't drop it. And at this point, Sergeant McKinney will walk to the family and present the flag. So once he approaches the family member, it's kind of up to you how you want to present it exactly, but he can just kind of bend over to the family member, or if they're standing up, obviously you just do it this way, or you can kind of get down close to on one knee. Some people will get down all the way on one knee and present it to the family member if they're really low, if they're in a wheelchair. And then at this point, Sergeant McKinney, being the presenter, would recite the speech to the family member. Once he's finished and the family member accepts the flag, Sergeant McKinney stands up, salutes the flag, does an about face, and departs. And this concludes the mission. So now I'm going to talk about if you're at the cremation service and the minister is done speaking, this is what will happen. You'll have to unfold the flag and then fold it again as part of the service. So to unfold the flag, you basically start as you do. Basically unfold the tuck, and now you just, there's no really proper exact way that you have to do this. Just do it in a nice, slow, concise manner. And just step back when you're unfolding the flag, straight back to the side, step back to the side, step back. Now, once you get to this point, you're going to have to do, you're going to have to open the flag all the way up, which we call it popping the flag open. Now, to do this, you have to obviously sync it and do it together. So each person on each end is going to bring their hands together, and you're going to grab on to each end of the flag, the ends that would be this end and this end when you're holding it apart. So make sure you have those ends in your hands. The senior-most person will give a wrist flick, and I'm going to get out of the way, and they will pop it open. And that's basically it. You pop open the flag, you hold it, and then you go right into the folding the flag portion. So this concludes the training video on folding a flag. I hope some of these tips will help you when you go out in the field and have to perform a flag folding detail.